Notice the part on the bald head. I don't know where Tory got his hairline restored from, but obviously he must have gave his father the plug. We don't have any evidence of that. I'm just gonna speculate, but
he got a pretty good and everything. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. But he's bald at the same. You can tell by the reflection, like the light reflected off his head. But that's neither here nor there. So.
All right, Cap, we live with another one.
True news and reviews. Real deal, Giants. Real with Rob the Water God, man.
For real.
We got to talk about Tory Lanez father, Sunstar Peterson. And he's defending his son. He's making what he says is his return to IG after 2.5 years. There's a time to speak and a time to stay silent. Those are his words, and I guess he's decided that this is his time to speak. Probably the most shocking part of this audio is him forgiving Meg Thee Stallion. He says that him and his son have forgiven Meg Thee Stallion, which I think was really big of him because it's obvious that Jay-Z only did this to Tory Lanez because Tory Lanez was about to buy NBC. That's the theory I'm going with. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about that? I'm joking.
Sound like the Cosby. Sound like
I'm joking.
Sound like the Cosby thing. Yeah, I feel you. But it sounds like what they said about Cosby. You remember?
Well, yeah, I'm making a Cosby joke, but these conspiracies that are spinning around.
Yeah.
Go ahead and please put that on side. These conspiracies that spin around from the Tory Lanez case never cease to amaze me. I guess I don't think anybody should really go down that rabbit hole and poison their minds with, an hour of listening to Tory Lanez father. If you want to, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? I was able to find a good video on YouTube, but I'm going to give you my biggest takeaways of the whole conversation and some things that I thought were, notable. Okay. Without further ado, we'll go right into Mr. Lanez defending his kid.
Yeah, I must admit, he was fresher than a pastor on Sunday.
Oh yeah, he is a man of the cloth, if that's the term I could use.
He seems like a very savvy dresser.
Yeah, savvy dresser, good orator. He's definitely a smooth talker, and I guess we'll get into his one of his many introductions. He had a lot of build up with this. He's first was talking about how this is his first return to Instagram. IG. Let's see what he's from.
As I live and breathe. Interesting. I've heard of pages being suspended, blocked, and every kind of thing because of content, supposedly. I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. I think this may be the first time in history that a page has been blocked or wiped before any content has ever gone. I know that sometimes pages could be stopped because, hey, God bless all of you. Thank you so very, very, very much. I know there are times when there is, what they may consider inappropriate content or whatever the case may be. But I've never heard of a session being blocked before
he starts the IG talking about how something a little fishy going on. They done blocked this page before it was even any content on there and everything like that. I think I took the wrong timestamp, but there was a point where he said there's a time to speak and a time to keep silent.
Right.
For some reason, he felt like this was the time to speak. I want you to keep that in your mind, because we got to figure out, why is he coming out at this time? You know what I'm saying? Why is he speaking on the case? You know, is this helping Tory? And I want to draw your attention to another part of the video where he says that he's not going to talk about the merits of the case on this thing. So that kind of lets us know right now that we're not going to get anything too substantive from him, right? We already have the case litigated. We have people that have evidence, things on video. We had 12 jurors sit through a trial. If we want a better source of facts, they're out there. This is not the best guy to get an account of what happened on the trial from, but I want you to pay attention to what he says. He's not going to talk about any details of the case at 8 minutes and about 8 minutes and 7 seconds into this thing. Oh.
So I am not going to get into speaking about a case that is not over, although many would like to think that it is or would hope that it is. So I'm not going to get into speaking about the merits of a case, about the legal realities of it. They are experts in that field who are standing up to address it now. And so I will allow them to do what they do best. And I will do what I know that God has gifted me to do best. And that's number one, to tell the truth. That's number one. That's number two, to be a voice for truth. You see, truth is not a philosophy, people. Truth is not an ideology. Truth is not a religion.
I agree with him. Religion is not the truth. So he goes on. Just say a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. He actually, I mean, that's mine. You know, he's just talking. He ain't really saying nothing. He explains the outburst on the day of the court verdict. That's when I became aware of who he was. You remember that too, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of explains that.
Let me go back to the day of the verdict at the courthouse, because I left that courthouse and the cameras were there. I did not come out saying, oh, I'm about to say something and this would be a good moment to make a statement so that what I'm going to say will go viral. That was never the issue at all. I came out because I had sat for 2.5 years seeing an injustice being perpetrated against an innocent man. There are those who would say, oh, well, that's your son. You'll believe anything.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys, for sure. I think he's biased. I don't think he's being really objective, and I wouldn't expect him to really speak out against his son. Do you sense any biasness from him with his account?
I didn't hear the fact. I don't know what point he's bringing, but I can see.
But what do you say to his claim that? What do you say to his claim that he's not just agreeing that Tory's innocent because he's his son? He's saying that there was a huge, miscarriage of justice that we watched.
Right. I mean, I can only see. I mean, I don't know what he's seeing. But maybe
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this. It's impossible for him to be unbiased in a case.
Yeah,
against his son. I mean, near to impossible. Maybe not impossible. I've seen people testify on their kids before. I mean,
yeah. Look at the case in Jacksonville.
Look at Queso. Yeah.
Yeah.
We covered that. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I had to kind of clean that up.
Yeah, gotta clean that up.
But it's near impossible. You know what I'm saying? You kind of want to believe your kid. We've all seen parents who feel like their kid can do no wrong. So I don't think he's different from that. He goes on to describe Tory as a sacrificial lamb.
Whoa.
Yeah, he brings a lot of the church into it. Now, that was really just the teaser stuff. I'm not trying to tease anybody, but let's get into these are my big takeaways here, right? For me, this might be my favorite part of this. Second to the apology. there's a point in the video, right, where it almost sounds like we're gonna get an apology from Daystar or Sunstar, pardon me. And he kind of just rambles on, and then eventually goes into saying that he forgives Megan. So peep this. This is funny how he does this. Tell me if I'm tripping. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I just don't like this guy. I don't know. You feel me? I'm trying to be objective, but the whole thing is comical to me. This whole thing. Except for, somebody got shot, of course. He ain't happy Tory going to jail, but I don't want to live in chaos. I don't want people just shooting women and getting away with it. But hold on, let's go.
Here we are today. Long time ago, I made a decision before God. I said, God, if I ever sin or mess up in private, I will come before you and I will repent. I will ask forgiveness in private. But as a leader, if I mess up publicly, then I will go to the people before whom I've messed up and I will ask them to forgive me publicly. That's been my stance. So that's why I'm even going back to the day on the courthouse steps, because many of you were led to believe that it was an emotional outburst on my part. It really was not merely an emotional outburst. You would have to know my history. You'd have to know how God has used me in nations around the
I'm still waiting for the apology, right? Go ahead.
The world. You would have to know that there are times when I've stood up with great boldness to speak on behalf of those who were marginalized, those who did not have a voice, to speak on behalf of those who people did not want to be able to have a voice, to publish their pain and the things that were going on with them.
I'll save you some time. He never gets to the point where he apologizes for anything. Did you beat that?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't hear no apology, but
but
in the interview, he don't apologize.
Like, no, I listened to this whole 40 minutes. This ain't the complete one, but I'm just saying that's funny that
he probably don't feel like what he said was obviously, because he said, he put the God term where
so maybe this ain't one of those instances, but he prefaced it to say, look, I told God if I mess up, I'm gonna repent. You feel me? Privately, if I mess up, you feel me, to God. But I told God also, if as a leader I make a mistake publicly, I'm gonna come before the public and ask for forgiveness. And then he goes on, many of you were led to believe that my outburst was an outburst. No, it really wasn't an outburst, because blah, 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 blah. And he never really gets to the apology. That's what we just heard.
He never said he was gonna apologize.
All right, you missed it. Let me go back. I'm glad. I'm glad. That's why I take timestamps. You feel me?
Here we are today. Long time ago, I made a decision before God. I said, God, if I ever sin or mess up in private, I will come before you and I will repent. I will ask forgiveness in private. But as a leader, if I mess up publicly, then I will go to the people before whom I've messed up and I will ask them to forgive me publicly. That's been my stance. So that's why I'm even going back to the day on the courthouse steps.
So that's why I'm going back to the day on the courthouse steps, right? Because he's supposed to apologize publicly. You still following?
I mean, you could take it that way, but
we'll move on. Forgiveness for Meg. Here we go. I guess you'll see this as a positive thing. He's a nice guy because he's forgiven Meg. He found it in his heart to forgive Megan Thee Stallion.
It sounded really, really wonderful. And, for them to be on the side of this defenseless Black woman. Let me stop right here and say this, and this might come as a shock to many of you. But guess what? Both my son, myself, and others of our family have long decided that we are not going to hold any animosity against Megan Pete, aka Megan the Stallion. We forgave that girl long time ago, because again, we know that the principle of forgiveness is important in order to cleanse one's heart, to cleanse one's soul, and to not be, bound up with hatred and hatred, trust me, resentment, bitterness, those things can actually cause diseases of the bones. It has been proven, and it can cause sickness.
Yeah, he's spitting that fugazi medical science stuff now, maybe he could link us to an article where they prove that hate causes sickness in the bones. I haven't come across it. Maybe he's dropping science. How do you feel about his apology to Megan Thee Stallion, or him forgiving Megan Thee Stallion?
What is he forgiving her for?
Are you listening to this man?
Yeah, but what is he? I don't know what he's forgiving her for. What is we forgive her? What, that she lied on them? That he feels that she lied on him?
Did you not hear that? We covered the outburst on the stands, right? When he talked about it was a big miscarriage of justice. If his defense has said that Kelsey shot Meg instead of Tory, wouldn't that imply that Megan is lying? Oh,
so that's how he feels. Okay. So he forgives Megan for lying, basically. Yeah.
You tell me. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he's speaking another language, like you don't know what's going on.
I mean, he's saying he forgive Megan, but we don't know. It's not clear. He's not saying I forgive Megan for this. He's just saying he forgive her. So it's a broad statement that you probably can tie it together. You know what the defense is, but I'm still trying to listen to what he says and not trying to put no words in his mouth.
And after you listen, you don't have no opinion about the apology, right? That's what you're saying. I'm putting words in his mouth.
I don't know what he's forgiving Megan for. Like I don't know that depth into what he's saying. They forgive her. So maybe they forgiving her for saying that he shot her. Maybe that's what he's saying. I can take that, but he's forgiving Megan, I guess. They're forgiving her,
Okay, thanks for that rich contribution. All right. He goes on to say Tory is, the kindest individual you'll ever meet.
Who really is Daystar Peterson? 1 second, please. Who really is he? The fact is that he's one of the kindest individuals that you could ever meet in your life. The truth is that they don't want you to know is that he is someone who actually goes out of his way to help so many people. And I can tell you testimony upon testimony of things that he does and never says anything about it. Never lets anyone else know what he does in the background to help people. He will never tell you that. And there's one young lady who got in contact with me that was diagnosed as being bipolar.
And
having a
Tory allegedly paid up her rent for a year or whatever. So that makes him a good guy. It makes him a good guy, Now, something else I thought was interesting about this, they accuse Megan Cuniff of lying on them. And I heard Milagros bring this up too. So that's two times that it seems like Megan Cuniff has become a target of a little bit of hate. Let me see. It's about 1840 where he talks about the allegations against Megan Cuniff, and that's going to be relevant.
Megan Cuniff. This woman actually went on and said that she saw my wife and I giving transcripts or leaking information to certain journalists to put out on the internet. Wait. Stop for a second. Number one, why would the district attorney's office give us things to put out on the internet to make my son look even worse? Hence, I'm talking about the interview with Kelsey. Why? That makes no sense.
Yeah, so he's saying that, you know, it's a narrative being painted against him, you know. They saying things about him that ain't true. Laid from the DA. Interesting, right?
Yeah. It's like he got a lot. It sounds like he's trying to get something off his chest, and he's very passionate.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I guess the last thing I'll share from this is Sunstar Peterson's dream. Now,
oh, that's his name, Sunstar?
Yeah, Sunstar Peterson. He actually had a dream recently, and maybe that'll give us some clarity as to who he is and what he's about.
Like Martin.
So Martin I had Luther. To realize that this woman was saying things for the sake of clout. Moving right along, here we are today. Long time ago, I made a decision before God. I said, God, if I ever sin or mess up in private, I will come before you and I will repent. I will ask forgiveness in private. But as a leader,
oh, my bad.
If I mess up public,
my bad. We supposed to be right here.
Two things. In 1990, I went to my bed and I had a dream. And in that dream, I saw that I was driving in downtown city in Canada. And I was pulled over by the police in the vision, and they said, give us the manuscript on the destiny of the black race. Mind you, in the natural world, I had never even conceived of writing a manuscript like that, much less putting out a book. But that's what happened in the dream. They said, give us the manuscript on the destiny of the black race. I went to the trunk of my vehicle, took it out, walked it back to the squad car, and I handed it to the officer. And as I was handing it, I said to the man, I said in my mind, rather, I handed it to him, but in my mind, I said, you can take this, but you can't take what's in my heart. And from then, long story short, I started to study. I started to research on what the plight of black people were. And as soon as I started that, again, I went to bed one night and I was thrust into another dream.
Yeah, how you feel about that?
Sounds like he, sounds like it's hard for me to even say. I mean, it sounds like he had a dream, whatever. I mean, I don't know what to take from it, Seems like he's trying to put out a book or something,
Well, that we could agree on. He's trying to put out a book. I don't know what's up with you in this Tory Lanez case, but we have a goofy Negro with a fake part shaved in the side of his head, acting like he's getting some kind of divine dreams to write a book. And you don't see through this. None of this seems a little bit off to you.
I mean, I'm trying to listen to what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to listen and trying to, before I, that's all I'm saying.
Man,
and once I came to it, I see it like, yeah, it seems like when he's talking about the book, like he probably trying to come out with a Black History book or something. I can hear it.
Hey, listen, man.
But you putting it on that man. You putting it on that man like this is what he's doing all of this for. You know what I mean?
When did I say that?
Just now, you was like, you can't see the plot where he just trying to, sell this.
I said, does any of this seems off on you? Don't put words in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
I said none of this seems off to you. He seems
a little
disingenuous to me. I don't know. I don't listen to preaching niggas with fake parts on the side of their head talking about dreams that they got to write a book, dog. To me, that is gonna be a huge red flag. If you're the kind of person, you feel me, you or anybody out there, the kind of person that falls for that kind of stuff, boy, I tell you, man, you it's gonna be hard. You and your money will soon part. That's a multi-billion-dollar, you feel me, a racket right there. Yeah, preacher type guys getting dreams to write books, that's gonna save black people. Come on, man. Give me a goddamn break. Give me a break. That guy, I don't trust him.
All right. So you think he all for the buck? Basically, that's what you're saying. He's trying to make his money and get up out of there. Marketing. This was a great marketing.
I'll say this. I'll say this. That's what you're saying. I'll say this. This little IG live that he did not raise my confidence in his, I don't know, his judgment. And it definitely just changed my mind about what I think happened that day with Tory and everything like that.
He didn't really say nothing though. He didn't really get me. I mean, to me, he didn't really say nothing. About the case. He didn't. You know what I mean? Really, like he said
he said he wasn't going to say anything about the case, but he did actually go into some details about the case, though.
Yeah, he did go in about about.
I didn't even play it. I didn't even play it, but he did say some stuff about evidence being blocked. So, it was at around the 16-minute and 49-second mark. So, I ain't want to be too hard on him though, but he did kind of contradict himself a little bit. He talked about some details to the case.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
He said evidence was blocked. He's on this whole tip where he's evidence was blocked. He says, Tory couldn't say anything because of a gag order. Oh, that might be relevant. Let me go back to it. I'm gonna say one more thing on that. I want to push back on something he said too. He was talking about Tory couldn't talk because of a gag order.
Thousands of people.
Oh, watch this.
I will continue to stand up, and I'm paraphrasing now, so let me leave that alone. So the strategy was very simple. Shut his mouth while the mouth of those with the biggest megaphone on planet Earth piled on and said everything. Can you imagine 2.5 years, every single day, you have to get up to that, knowing that you did not do this. And so that was the face that they decided would best serve their narrative. Who really is Daystar Peterson, people?
Yeah, that's when he goes to paint him as a good guy. People might have short memories, but Tory was doing a lot of talking throughout that case. He was on IG Live, and then he released a whole album where he was talking about it. So, I mean, I think that his megaphone was just as loud as Megan's. Because people was definitely on that album, talking about that album.
I'm car accident injury attorney Jared Blakely from Blakely Law Firm, and I'd like to speak to you today about an important issue: car safety for our pets.
We're talking to my child.
He goes into talking about that here.
A couple of people definitely hurt me for sure. I'm a human being. That shit cut me deep to the bone. Even in the times when I was able to even get on that attitude, when it was like, it was one of those points where it was just like, everyone's pummeling me, everyone's coming at me. I was just like, you know what? Fuck you niggas. And that's what happens to any human being, of course. And that's when you got the snap and you got the, nigga, I'm a rapper, I'm gonna spit whatever I'm gonna spit because this is the only way I can actually say it right now.
See? They was telling him to stop talking about the case, but he was kind of swaying the court of public opinion with that album that came out, where he painted Megan to be a liar and, you know, kind of alluded to Kelsey being the shooter. So he's a really slick guy. He's a really slick guy. He's a really slick guy. Remember that that time where he made an accusation against Megan Cuniff, I think is her name.
Mm-hmm.
That girl Milagros was talking about that as well. When Act was talking about her around the 2 minute
episode of this podcast can be seen for free. Click the link in the bio chat. Let's
around
get
the 2 minute mark. She goes in there.
Was that I wrote it down?
No. When were you accused of this?
Within the last couple of days.
I'm listening to Megan Cuniff talk. I was telling my guy over there. I'm listening, and she's like, "Yo, Tory's team was too busy leaking transcripts to bloggers that they didn't use the transcripts to prepare for their closing." And I'm like, "Who the hell got transcripts leaked to them?"
I'm sitting up here relaying this shit so good, they think I'm reading the shit from some paperwork. We can go line for line on all my notes, you know, and take a look, and they can go back and listen. I told them everything that they listening to now. I've been told you that shit.
Yeah, but she was putting some sauce on it though. So yeah, Megan Cuniff. So I'm interested to see if she's going to respond to these allegations. Not that she has to. The case is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just getting sentencing after this.
Well, I guess. I mean, I ain't expect everybody to kumbaya after this. I want to see if there's any response from Megan Cuniff to the allegation. I can't see it right now. Any news on that? No, they got the soonest story that pops up is one from 3 weeks ago. So maybe she ain't got time to respond to their allegations. I wouldn't either. She probably on her next case or whatever. But you know, as a latest development, development from his father, I thought it was interesting. I'm still not moved. I still feel like, you know, I feel like we know what happened. Recently, 50 Cent even apologized for joking on Megan Thee Stallion. He says that he thinks he knows what happened that night as well. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I guess if 50 know what happened that night, I mean, he was the one
he said
talking
he
bad about Megan.
He apologized. I think a lot of people out there owe Megan an apology, man. I feel like people are reluctant to say what this looks like, and it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know where people learned. I don't know, man. I think people got something against women, man. I hate to say it. Seems like people got. I don't know where we.
No, I think it's this. I think it's a problem.
Women.
No. I think it's a problem with women for sure, but I think it's more of a bigger problem than you just singling it out on women. I think it's a bigger problem that has to be, because I see a lot of women, they talk about, and they do this for clout. Like they'll talk about the bad side of women on what they got right now, and you know, and they will get traction. And it'll be the same way with dudes. Like they will talk about, you know, they're getting traction because they're trying to be on the other side and get, you know, those pointers. And that's why I think a lot of this is going in, because a lot of people are, you know, they doing this for views and clicks to bash a side, you know, and it's getting to where people think that people really don't like women or don't like men, but it's
obviously
influencers.
Well, I think it is. I think that we're taught in our society to look at women as inferior second-class citizens, and I think it might even come from Tory's upbringing. You know, and a lot of our upbringing, that guy who's Tory's father, I think it's clear that he's from the church. Would you say that the Bible is misogynistic in any way?
I mean, you got
a lot of the teachers in the church are misogynistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of teachings that's, you know, that
so my point is, we're taught from a very young age to view women in that way, as lesser than.
Well, let me stop you there. I feel like me, I feel like a male is supposed to be a leader, you know, and of the household. So if that's come off as like you said, that's just how I believe. I believe that, you know, the structure of a family is, you know, what it is. Now, if we're gonna break that and say, you know, women could be the leader, the man could be the follower, it's just hard to say that is strictly that, and you not put that where we have to have some type of foundation. I mean, but I can get your point. I can definitely get your point. But I think it's both ways. I think we don't have enough people that's saying how society has treat black men who's supposed to protect black women. We never talk about that. So it's like now we like, you know, it's like skipping over a step.
You know that's skipping over a step. If somebody asks you a question, misogyny, right? If somebody asks you, "Are we misogynistic? Are we raised with misogynistic lessons and stuff like that?" Your response is, "What about how they're treating black men?"
No. I said that I do believe that black men are supposed to be a leader of the household. Like
okay,
I come under
that's
but
cool.
that could be misogynistic
that's a conversation
to people.
for
But some people
day.
might say, "Hey, I'm a woman. I should be able to have the same," you know, and I can't knock that.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a woman getting shot and nobody having everybody coming to Tory's.
Right, I'm talking about religion and what you said about how religion can be like that. And I'm just saying how it could get caught up where men could just feel like, okay, they have to lead and people have certain positions, but
what does that have to do with the way that black women are getting treated, or this particular black woman got treated in the media after the case? There's a mountain of evidence proving that somebody shot her, and like nobody has sympathy for her. We're not enough people. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about.
I'm talking about these leaders of
household.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's about these influencers. Just like I said, I'm gonna reiterate it. I think people, just like they're gonna go after points that's gonna be more popular to gain their fame. So they'll go out and hit certain topics, just the point of getting fame. Like I think it's people that'll say this or say, you know, jump on a man's side or jump on a woman's side for strictly fame or strictly clout, you know, on the internet. So yeah, I think you can make a point there, but you're fueling a lot of people who feel on that side. So it's a good pointer, because when people see you, yeah, man, I think it's, you know, women, but it's not the real case that you're going at. It's like a division to me. It's just a division side that, you know, you can get popular talking about. Like, I feel like you can have people that, if you're talking this, you're going to have people that be on your side, even on, we said with Andrew Tate, you got people on the masculine side. It's like, hey, men are this, and they got men on their side. So it's like, is this the real problem? What's the real problem that we could fix? Or is it just, you're going to point out men and women? And that's how I think a lot of us looking at it. It's like looking at it in a black and white thing. It's like saying, yeah, man, you know, it's the blacks, you know, we got hard.
What are you talking about, bro? You going over the river, through the woods, to the grandma's house. Like, we're talking about, like,
you talking about the misogynistic of religion. And I'm saying that there's people that's just like you. They get on these points and they do this points for clout. They're not really trying to solve the issue on the problem between the male and the female, which I said is division. It's more of division. It's like you saying, hey, you know, we're being so to the women, but it's like a whole human race kind of thing. It's not just against women. It's not just against kids. It's not just against men. It's like a whole division.
All lives matter, right?
And I ain't gonna put on that.
That's what it sounds like you said. You feel me? That's what it sounds like you said. I'm talking about the issue of misogyny, and you're going like all into, well, it's really like a human race thing, and it's just what you're talking about is division. I'm just saying, do you think that this is a misogynistic view?
You said that you said that we are viewed in society to hate down on our women. you just stuck it to women. You didn't say that we're like some people could say in our society we look down on black people. Like we'll be quick to do this to a black person.
I get it. What about isms and all lives matter type of stuff? I get it. You
no,
can't
you don't
focus
get
on the issue, dog. We'll leave it. We could just agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On this one thing, but I'm glad we got to go over to Tory Lanez. The Tory Lanez, you know, what's his name? Sunstar Peterson's return to IG and him defending his kid. You know, probably a lot of people agree with what you're talking about and disagree with me. Maybe I'm tripping. You know.
Sad case though, man. It's a sad.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Megan got shot, and that's the sad part about all of this, man. So we'll see how this plays out, man. This really should be the end. I guess we're gonna see if his appeal situation work out. I mean, we'll follow that. You think he has a chance in any of that to maybe overturn it? You don't think he has no chance? Yeah, I don't think he has a lot of chance.
I think from what he's dealing with, you see how society is. You know, this is tough for him to be able to, you know, try to. We live in a new day where it's like, you know, public opinion is big too. So it's like I'm hearing them saying they giving a lot to publicists and journalists. So it's like it's people trying to like get the public opinion on their side. So it's tough now, man, to try to be the case. OJ probably would have been guilty.
Damn public opinion. The facts ain't on that boy's side. You feel me? The facts ain't on his side. That's his biggest problem to me.
Yeah.
The facts are not on his side.
Yeah, but the public opinion was on his side at first, you know. I seen that, you know. So it's like you can see how it's crazy out
and
there.
that had nothing to do with misogyny. You standing on that.
I just think it's marketing. I don't think it has to do, you know.
Fair enough. I'll rest my case.
So hey man, we're gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. Cal trying to make me look like a woman hater over here. And, you know.
I was always real. I think that you have bad takes on the whole Tory situation. I've been consistent with that. Anybody who goes to the old videos and we think about it, no, I'm saying I've always disagreed with your take on the Tory situation. I don't think we've ever had a video on that where we was like on the same page.
Yeah.
Not once. But you know,
but I'm not gonna take my take as you had more of a take. I was just giving
I know you're just
more of an objective take. I wasn't, I wasn't into the story as much, you know, as you are, you know. So I think it's an imbalance on like, you know, if we was all into the same researching the facts the same like I was, I probably would be on your side, but I wasn't.
So you're saying that if you had done a better job of researching, you would probably agree with me. That's what you're saying?
I'm saying that could be the case, you know.
Okay,
if I could have
fair
looked
enough.
into it
That we could agree on. I think that's a good place to close it.
All right, man. So we'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Shoot news and reviews.
Shoot news and reviews.